Inland Empire, David Lynch's final feature film and 3-hour magnum opus released in 2006 and has been a polarizing work of art for nearly 20 years. Today I want to talk about how Inland Empire came to be. So strap in, buckle up, and come do the locomotion with me. By the year of our Lord, 2001, Lynch became interested in the internet. He came up with the idea of launching his own website where he can populate it with his art. So he got to work shooting a handful of shorts that he would then upload to the site. He quickly discovered that he needed more content for his website. Lynch found out that people could consume everything on the website in about an hour and then never return. So Lynch came up with the idea of a $10 monthly subscription that people could pay. The idea was that subscribers would generate money so David could shoot more things for the site, and it would be kind of like a mini studio. He also sold merch on the site, t-shirts, mugs, and posters. The website launched with big fanfare that began with an email blast that read, "This is the davidlynch.com notification. On Monday, December 10th, 2001 at 9:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, davidlynch.com will launch its main site. This will be followed shortly by the launch of new series exclusively for the net, and in turn, they will be followed by the opening of the store. Thank you for your interest in davidlynch.com. I look forward to seeing you there. David Lynch." The content for the website started to grow throughout 2002. He provided his famous daily weather reports by simply looking out his window and telegraphing how the day would shape up.
Here in LA, blue skies, muted golden sunshine, a gentle breeze, 74 degrees Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius.
On top of the daily weather reports, he created a series of shorts. There were 3 episodes of Out Yonder, which was David and his son Austin Lynch talking in a bizarre dialect. But the most famous short that Lynch produced in this time frame was Rabbits, which premiered on June 7, 2002 and was later injected into Inland Empire. Rabbits was 9 episodes of actors in big rabbit suits speaking in mannered haikus, occasionally punctuated with a sitcom laugh track.
There have been no calls today.
Starring as the Rabbits were Scott Coffey, Laura Haring, and Naomi Watts. Watts recalled that shooting rabbits was difficult. The actors could barely see out of the rabbit masks, and it was 1,000 degrees under the suit. But for Watts, it didn't really matter. When Lynch calls and asks you to work on a project, you say yes. In early 2003, David Lynch would meet his 4th wife, Emily Stoffel. And guess who introduced them? Eli Roth, of all people. Roth had been helping Lynch with research on Nikola Tesla, and Lynch would go on and executive produced Eli's debut film, Cabin Fever. Emily was neighbors with Eli Roth, and they got on a discussion about Lynch one day, and Eli said that Lynch was looking for some models to pose for photographs he was working on, and introduced Lynch and Emily. Lynch and Emily ended up working together on a handful of photo shoots in the following months, and the rest was history. Shortly after Lynch met Emily, he ran into Laura Dern outside his house. Dern had just moved into the neighborhood. They had a good talk and both agreed they should both work together again. Lynch went home and wrote something for Dern. He didn't have a feature in mind, it was just another experiment. What he wrote was a 16-page long monologue. Laura Dern memorized the incredibly long scene and they shot it in 2 takes. They said they stopped the take twice during the entire filming. Once for an airplane, and the second to reload the camera. It took them 4 hours to shoot the scene, and after they wrapped, Laura Dern went home and Lynch was having a smoke in the painting room. Suddenly his eyes got big and he looked at his small remaining crew and he said, "What if this is a movie?" This was the moment that Inland Empire was born.
I seen a man come at me with a crowbar once. I guess he figured I was two-timing him.
David eventually called producer Jeremy Alter saying that he's doing this thing, he didn't know what it was, but he wanted Jeremy to produce it, and so they started shooting. Alter recalls this time with Lynch. Quote, "David would write pages and Jay would type them, and that was about the extent of the script. At the beginning, the shooting was sporadic, but once Jeremy Irons came on board, it became more of a full-time thing." Lynch was thrilled beginning this journey because the crew was so bare bones. Lynch wrote, produced, edited, and shot the film with a Sony DSR PD-150. There was no script, and Lynch was basically just running off of his ideas. He'd have an idea of a small scene, the crew would shoot it, and while shooting it, Lynch would come up with another idea, write it down, and then they'd go shoot that. This was the process of Inland Empire. The ideas were often bizarre and had no relation to the last thing they shot, but that wasn't the only bizarre aspect. Lynch also demanded unusual things. One day, he asked for 6 black dancers, including one that can sing, a blonde Eurasian with a monkey on her shoulder, a lumberjack sawing wood, a tattooed person, Laura Harring in her Mulholland Drive outfit, and a beautiful one-legged girl. His crew acquired all of it.
I want a pet monkey, a spider monkey. Pet.
One night they were shooting a scene where Justin Theroux is lying dead in an alleyway and they ordered pizza. It arrived and Lynch ate a slice, then he looked at the pizza and scraped all the toppings off and smeared it on Justin's chest so it looked like a wound. And hey, while we're on the subject of Justin Theroux, the star of my favorite TV show of all time, he recalls shooting Inland Empire. Quote, "I had no idea what we were doing on Inland Empire. This was really seat of the pants, let's get the band back together filmmaking. And David was extremely visionary as far as embracing the technology that was newly available 15 years ago." Inland Empire was an all-hands-on-deck shoot. With a small crew of about 8 to 10 people, along with Lynch, they had to build sets, acquire props, and do the makeup. Everyone on the film was really young. To many of them, it felt like a summer project you do with a college professor. Lynch was often covered in paint, and when he wasn't directing, he was making something. His crew was working for a modest rate, but they all loved being there.
No. It's gotta be that other table. Holy shit.
Sabrina Sutherland, associate producer, said that Inland Empire was a turning point for David. It rejuvenated him. He was able to get his hands dirty and really finesse everything from effects to props to sets, and it was freeing for him to shoot with a small camera. In regards to shooting digitally, Lynch wanted to make the point that with digital, anyone can shoot a movie now. Aspiring filmmakers could now run out, buy a digital camera, and get creative. Even though Inland Empire was Lynch's last feature, he said he'd never go back to film again. He was sucked into the digital age. Towards the end of the shoot, the crew traveled to Poland for a few scenes. Lynch fell in love with Poland, specifically how it looked in the wintertime. Unfortunately for Laura Dern, the scenes were exterior and she had to be wearing summer clothes. The night they shot, it was 30 below outside. They could only shoot for about a minute tops because she would die if they were out there any longer. As soon as he yelled cut, they raced Dern and the other actors into a heated van.
That's what you first see. Okay, anytime you're ready, roll.
Inland Empire screened for the first time on September 6, 2006 at the Venice Film Festival. Lynch received the Golden Lion Lifetime Achievement Award for his contribution to the art of cinema. The film premiered in the US at the New York Film Festival on October 8th and was released in the States on December 9th. And as most Lynch films, some critics loved it and some hated it. With the exception of maybe Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet, this was common for Lynch. The film grossed $4 million, but that meant nothing to Lynch. He thinks box office numbers are disgusting and he is only interested in making his art. Campaigning for the Academy Awards is a costly endeavor, one that Lynch couldn't afford. So he came up with a fun idea. To campaign for Laura Dern's performance in Inland Empire, Lynch parked himself on Hollywood Boulevard with a live cow and a sign that said, "For your consideration." Another banner read, "Without cheese, there wouldn't be Inland Empire." People would come up and talk to Lynch and asked him what he was doing, and he would explain that he was campaigning for Dern's performance. When asked about the cheese banner, he said, "I ate a lot of cheese during the making of Inland Empire."
If you want to see the greatest performance of 2006, check out Laura Dern's performance in Inland Empire.
Reflecting on the film, Dern has no regrets, despite its commercial failure. Quote, "We worked on it for 3 years, and it was the greatest experience I've had as an actor. David's the bravest artist I've ever known, and his goals are different from other artists. He started that project saying to me, I want the crudest camera, and I want to do something that any 17-year-old sitting in Phoenix with their grandparents can do with a camcorder. Why can't I just grab a camera and see what that looks like? What is digital? How can we take it further? How are we blending these new and old technologies?" That's filmmaking. If you're in it for the result, then you can experiment, but if you're there to redefine art, you can do anything. David's gift to all actors is that he propels them into a void where there are no rules. End quote. Thank you so much for watching. If you were digging these mini docs about how certain movies got off the ground, then please hit that like button and subscribe. But what do you think of Inland Empire? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. All I'll say is that Inland Empire is a movie that you experience, and it's an experience you don't forget. Love it or hate it. Hell, it's a miracle this movie even exists. Thanks again for watching, and until the next time, I will see you on the next one.